Hi guys, uh, new tutorial, and we are kind of making it 2 or 3 series about um, how to editing editing um, editing videos with Adobe Premiere Pro. And on the previous lesson I explained how to create a you know create a project. And in this tutorial I am going to demonstrate a few more basic stuff to get you going and start to using this software and give you some confidence to using this editing software. um, After you create your project with your preferred project name and place to save it on any folder you like, um, we will start our project. The purpose of this tutorial is to kind of get you going and start to uh, getting confident in this software. And we are going to explain lots of tips and tricks of these editing tools and Premiere Pro later on short videos and latest. But for the starting, I am going to demonstrate and teaching you the things that you're going to use to start things going and start to actually editing your videos. So uh, so this is the page that you are going to dealing with after you open up the Premiere Pro. As I explained previously, um, you're gonna using this button, file, new project, or that button I just press, new project, to create a project. And you put your project name and a place to save it anywhere on your hard drive or external hard drive if you like. And pretty much that's it. So assume that you are creating that project. This is the workspace of this software. Adobe makes changes uh, on every edition of this software. um, they try to make it more user friendly, and they try to add things on the years goes by. And as I told you, I will explain each one of these buttons and settings, from the file, edit, clips, sequence, markers, graphics and titles, view, windows. But in this few short tutorial I am going to demonstrate most basic stuff and things that you're going to use to start to get going. So without further ado, this is the what it calls everybody the workspace. you know each area of this window is going to use for something special, something has its own usage. So This is a timeline. You put every clips, every assets of your project, sounds, music, anything on this timeline, and use it to create your main timeline. Okay, this is calling the program monitor, the output of the output, and something that you see what's happening on the timeline. So I am going to demonstrate, assuming that your workspace is not like mine. So this is the workspace. Every panel that you are going to use is right there, like uh, uh, like uh, like project setting, effects, source monitor, and audio meters, uh, and stuff like that. If Before we continue, let me explain to you that each button on the Adobe Premiere Pro is accessible by the menus up there. Okay, so maybe you close the effects panel. You close the effects panel. Where it's going? This is it. You are going to use it and find it on this panel: window, workspace, and effects. It's going back. Okay, so um things that you have to remember at the first is that every project is going to change its workspace by default. When you're opening a project, the the main guy that edited and use it save that project with that kind of workspace. Maybe it's something like this: the source monitor is big and the program monitor is little, or anything. What I am trying to say is that those panels is going to change, and you're gonna have to understand how these things works. um, I always try to um, because I am using a lot of timeline, I'm going to spend most of my time on the timeline, so I'm going to give it more space. So I'm going to give it more space like that. Okay, when you put your mouse over this line, anywhere on this line, this whole line is going to give you an opportunity to goes up and down. So this is it. So I assume that you're gonna need a program monitor by um, just like that. So you're gonna give it at least this kind of space. So you're gonna use your upper half, or half of your desktop to arrange your workspace into timeline and program monitor, because they are important and you're gonna use it very often. After that, what I always try to do, I give a little more space for my project like that to see frame rate, media start, name, and other attributes. And I always try to hide my effects. This is the main shape that I always use. Effect control is right there. Source, clips, and project. This is it. So you're gonna have to start to use the um, short keys on your keyboard. If you're on Mac computers, is different than if you're using it with your Windows. So on your Mac, you're gonna have you will have a command key. On the Windows, you are having a Windows key, Alt, Control, or Function key. It doesn't matter. You have to start to use the shortkeys and concept of shortkey. They are going to give you more speed. They're gonna reduce your editing time and reduce your time on the editing software. It doesn't matter which software you are using. So let me give you few of these shortkeys. First of all, this is what it's called accolade or this key. You know, the key that turns every window into a full screen. You know, it's a key by the side of the number 1, or upper, or on some other keyboard is on the upper on the enter key. So this is it. Whether you're on the program monitor or source monitor, or even on the project monitor, or on the timeline, how you gonna jump into other windows? You're gonna have to use Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4, Shift 5, Shift 6. Did you see that it actually adds the audio track mixer panel, which it was not there at that time? Shift 6. Yes, it's going to add that. So remember that. So what you're gonna trying to learn is that you're gonna use Shift 1, Shift 3, Shift 2, Shift 4, Shift 1, and try to be familiar with this kind of shortcut. So you learn the full screen key, this key, and you're gonna use Shift plus 1, Shift plus 2, Shift plus 3, Shift 2, Shift 1, Shift 3. Okay, so this is it. Let's say you open your project and you're ready to edit your video. Where you want to put your files, your basic files, your music, your videos? This is it. It's called project window, where you put all your project into it, and you're gonna learn how to organize all of these assets when they get big, when they get too much assets, like adjustment layer, different sound effects, music, so many music files, so many video files. How you're gonna add video to your project? This is it. You're gonna right click, you're gonna click the import. It's going to open a window called import window, where you have access to your files, different drives, and other than that you have access to file import. Control I. So this is it. And we have another key, short key for that, is that it's called Control I. See that? So try to remember that, or no, if you like. So this is it. Let's add a video clip or image for editing. So let's say if you double click on this panel in this empty space, it's going to give you that input panel, input window. So I am going to add a clips, I'm going to add another clips like this. I'm going to add an image. Oh no, not image. Maybe some sound effects, maybe some anything. Okay, an image, music. Okay, this is it. So how are you going to use this? This is the key. Full screen. So every attribute and every parameters of this file is right there. Like duration is important, and video size, the kilohertz and attributes of this sounds, how many frame rate, um, and other stuff you can add, like when it was created and other things. And then actually on this panel, you can double click it to full screen it or not. You can create new bins, like a folder within the folder. Like this is where you try to organize your files and assets. Like say I'm gonna add a footage. I am going to add another folder by the name of image. I'm going to add another form like exports. I'm going to add like final render, and of course I'm going to add projects or anything. So this is it. After you import your files into the project window or bins, yeah, you have to start to put them into the sequence. Before sequence, I'm going to explain few other tools that you're gonna need. So you have to organize your workspace. This is one of the things that you're gonna use in the future. When you put your mouse into this section, see the icon of this mouse is going to change. This is how I'm going to, make them big or little, or make them up and down. Or another thing is that I am going to put exactly in the middle of these three lines. It goes like this. I can move anything around and adjust it as I like it. This is it. This is going to use it on this page too, and even on every lines you have these kind of icons. Okay, this is it. Another things you're gonna use is that you're gonna have to learn to play with these panels, like closing them, adding them. It was a program monitor, so this is it. And you're gonna click it and you're gonna drag it to everywhere you want. Let's say I want my program monitor to be completely left. This is it. So another thing is that you are going to learn that you're going to use it for future. is that, let's close this pen. It's have dock and undocking. This make it to the window to floating window. You have to closing the panels, and then you have to add program monitor. Okay, let's say you want your monitor, your source monitor or program monitor, which is the things that you're gonna use it for seeing the output footage, output files. Let's say you want to float it. You're going to undock that, and it's going to transfer into a floating panel. Okay, and then when you want to return it to normal state, you're gonna click it and drag it into anywhere you want, like this. See, and then you release it. It's going to normal. That is how to undock and docking a panel. So and let's see what other things you're gonna need. You have to setting up your workspace the way that you really use. Like, you're gonna use lots of your space for the timeline and program monitor, and you're gonna have to learn how to arrange them the way you want. So try to practice these things and get familiar with this. So I told you you can change your whole workspace for the color grading, and it's going to appear in this section. You're gonna get back to your editing. You're gonna use the all panels are right here. You don't have to scale anything. So basically I try to close the lumetri color and effect control panel, and just use the things that I always use. So, and when I need it, I'm going to add them later.